And in this video, we're going to show you how to set up the website settings in PowerPress. And basically what that is how the player shows up in your posts in WordPress when you publish a podcast episode. So go to PowerPress and Settings and go to this Website tab. And right here it says Enable PowerPress Media Players and Links. Make sure that is on. Permalinks. This is in case you happen to have a page that is /podcast or a category with a slug podcast, singular. We suggest not doing that, but if you insist on having a page with /podcast as a slug, click it to match feed name to page category. Since I'm not doing that on this site, I'm going to leave it at default. And then episode box appearance. Check this box to display all episode settings before the media is verified. I would suggest leaving that off. And the only reason I would leave that off is you want to make sure your media is right. Then you can go in and fiddle with the episodic stuff, which I show in a different video. But if you want to have it all there prior to publishing, you just check that box and save changes. Blog posts and pages. Display media and links below page content, above page content, or you can disable it. I like to have it above page content because I'm doing a podcast episode. I want the player to be up there front and center in the post. You can disable it if you want to. I suggest not, even if you're going to use the shortcode to place the player somewhere in the middle, which I'll show you in a minute. Make sure you have above or below on just in case you forget to put the shortcode in. At least the player will be there, and then you can move it around later if you want to. Display links and player in WordPress Excerpts. Some WordPress themes do a excerpt page instead of a regular blog roll. What that does is, you'll have like a read more, or you have to click into it to read the whole post. But that's called an excerpt page. If you have that and you want the player to be on the excerpt page, check this box. And if you want to turn off the player, again, there's lots of ways to disable the player. Here's another one: hide player and links. So anyway, and another one says display player or turn off. This just turns on the player. So if you want to put in a manual player and then still have the links and everything, below this manual player, you can disable that and not have our player in there and use whatever player you want. Media links. Play a new window link is on by default. That is a little link underneath your player that if someone clicks that, it starts playing in a new little window. And you can set the size of that window in another page. Display download link is on by default. I also like to turn on include size and duration. This lets people know what they're in for. If you click that one, this one turns on. If you click this one, it's kind of weird, but click this second one. And player embed link. That's if you want the ability for someone to embed your player into their page. And then subscribe links under player. That's things you set in the destinations, which will be in a different video. But if you have subscribe links, you leave that on, and those will automatically show up underneath. Subscribe label. You can change the label of the subscribe links if you want to, click to subscribe or whatever you want to put in there. I think it just says subscribe right now. And let's see, subscribe page. This is a page that we create for you called Subscribe to Podcast. You can hit this create subscribe page from template, and it will make a page right here in your pages in WordPress. And I'll show you that in a minute as well. And let's see. Subscribe widget, you can style it with modern. If you look right here, this is the subscribe link you would have under modern. This would be classic. You can have it rounded or square, so it rounds it off, or it's squared. So you can play with that, decide what you want to do. Custom styling, what does that give you? So you can You could switch that to some other styling, I guess. I'm not really sure how that all works, so don't worry about it. And save your changes if you made any. And shortcodes. This just explains the shortcode. So if you do disable the player or you want to move the player around within your post, you can put this little shortcode in your post wherever you want the player and links to show up. PowerPress playlist shortcode. If you have your playlist turned on, which you do in the advanced settings, you can stick this in here and that'll make a little player that has the last 10 episodes in it. And there's a lot of, if you click this link here, it'll explain how to put more than 10 episodes or format it differently. All that information's in this link right here. PowerPress subscribe shortcode. That is on that subscribe page that we made. This is the little shortcode that generates the box that has all the subscribe options in it. And the skip to time, you can put this within you put a link within your post if you want the player to skip to a particular spot in the audio. And right here's a link that'll explain all that. And this having issues, if you publish an episode and you don't see the player and you have it all turned on, your theme may be messing with it. So here's 3 or 4 yes answers to try to fix that. What you do is you select yes, please try to fix, save your changes, clear your cache on the website and on your browser, and see if the player shows up. Usually one of those 4 will fix it. If not, give us a call. And play a new window. This is where you can format that window. By default, it's 420 pixels by 240 pixels, which is a nice size. But if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can do that right here and save your changes. And that is the website settings for PowerPress.